As President-elect Donald Trump prepares to once again take office, Canadian ag officials are preparing for the unknown. Host of Real Ag Radio, Shaun Haney, joins us now with the very latest. Shaun, good to have you with us. Now, is there a strong expectation in Canada that there will be tariffs on Canadian products entering the U.S.?
Well, that seems to be how a lot of people are thinking. I would say that there is a strong sense of uncertainty. We've seen a number of different reports coming out of major news services, everything from, as of Monday, we could see 20 to 25% tariffs on all goods leaving Canada going to the U.S. We've seen on some strategic goods. We've also seen some reporting, people talking about, 2.5%. And it would work its way up every month, escalating negotiating power. So I guess time will tell. We may have at least more of a signal on Monday, but we may not have all the answers. I was in Saskatoon this week for the Western Canadian Crop Production Show, and there's a lot of worry. People asking me, hey, what's going to happen? What's Trump going to do? And I have to say, I really don't know either. There's probably a small group of people that know, and next week we're probably going to find a little bit more.
I was going to say, unless you're in that inner circle, you probably don't know. But would you say that all the premiers there in Canada, the Prime Minister, they're on the same page regarding Canada's response to the possibility of tariffs?
There's been lots of talk in Canada here about a Team Canada approach. This week we saw the Prime Minister get together with premiers from across the country. Now, premiers are essentially provincial leaders, so they're same as like a state governor. So the Prime Minister got together with all the premiers. They had a joint communique that everybody signed, except for the Premier of Alberta. And one of the concerns that Alberta has as a province, that is the largest oil and gas producer in Canada. And the Alberta Premier Danielle Smith has a concern that the others have not ruled out putting an export ban or an export tariff on Alberta oil and gas going into the United States. The U.S. buys a lot of oil and gas out of Alberta, provides substantial revenues to not only Alberta, but the rest of Canada. And Alberta's position has been, let's maybe not threaten something that we can't follow through on. The size of those purchases are so large. If you eliminated those purchases of Alberta oil and gas, the U.S. would actually have a trade surplus with Canada. That gives you a bit of an idea how substantial that business is.
That is big. So which sectors of agriculture are more concerned than others about the tariffs?
Definitely when I was at the Western Canadian Crop Production Show this week in Saskatoon, what you're hearing is a lot of ag manufacturers are very concerned. They're concerned about the threat of tariffs and how that's devaluing the Canadian dollar relative to the U.S. dollar. A lot of those companies are buying components from the U.S. and bringing them into Canada to their manufacturing facility. And then, of course, a tariff would have an even greater impact as they ship those pieces of equipment or maybe the finished food product into the United States where the bulk of their customers are. Also farmers, of course. A lot of concern from the beef industry, the pork industry, very highly integrated with the United States. There's animals moving back and forth, finished product moving back and forth. But, canola growers as well. I heard from some of the canola growers this week in Saskatoon, very concerned about what would happen with canola going to the U.S. from a biofuel perspective or meal for dairies. So there's a lot of questions. And right now, heading into the weekend, just a lot of concern and uncertainty.
Yeah, so many ag connections there. We're all sitting on the edge of our seat waiting to see what's going to happen on Monday afternoon. That's Shaun Haney, host of Real Ag Radio. Appreciate your time today. And you can catch Shaun on Real Ag Radio, which airs at 4:30 p.m. Eastern weekdays on Rural Radio, channel 147 on Sirius XM. And we will hear from him and our friends at Real Ag Radio again on Market Day Report. That would be coming up on Tuesday.